Hi Year 9, this is a tutorial on how to balance symbol equations in chemistry. What we're going to do, we're going to start off with some very basic symbol equations and go through how to balance that using something called the grid method, and then in a later part we're going to go on to some more complex equations where we're looking at brackets and how we can balance those more complex ones. So if you already got a firm knowledge on how to balance normal equations like this, then you can skip ahead to the part where the title changes at the top and says Balancing Equations Advanced. Okay, right, so to get started on this one then, we've got a normal symbol equation shown on the screen which says hydrogen plus oxygen gives us water, so that's H2O. Okay, so our first step when we are balancing symbol equations is to draw a line straight down the arrow so it separates our reactants, which are on this side, from the products. So that's the first step that you've got to take. Our next step is to actually start to count the number of atoms that are on each side of the line. So the way that I always expect you to set it out, write the letter of the atom. So we've got H for hydrogen and we've got an O for oxygen. Okay, and all that we're doing on both sides of the arrow, we're going to count to see how many atoms there are on each side. Now for hydrogen, we can see here, I'll highlight this, that there is 2 hydrogen atoms. The small number that comes after the atom shows how many there are. So on this side, we've only got 2 hydrogens. We've got a 2 next to the oxygen. That means that we've got 2 oxygens there as well. Now if we go to our product side, you can see on this side we have got 2 hydrogens, but we've only got 1 oxygen. So if there's no number that comes after it, then that means that there is just 1 atom. Okay, so if we fill those in, we've got 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Rub that out. Okay, and 1 oxygen. Now, the rule that I always suggest that you do first, and I'll write this out for you just at the bottom so you can see it, is to balance the oxygen atoms first and then the hydrogen atoms. Okay, so we put that on there so we can see it nice and clearly. That is a rule that will just make it a little bit easier when you're actually doing these. Okay, so we know that our hydrogens at the minute are okay, they're balanced. However, the oxygens are not. We've only got 1 oxygen atom on this side, whereas we need 2 to balance this side. Okay, so the way that we can do that, we can bring in another molecule of water. And the way that we show this is by putting a number before the actual symbol for that molecule. So we put a 2 in front of it. Now that just means we've got 2 molecules of water. What this means though, is that we now have to change the number of atoms for both the hydrogen and the oxygen, because now, if we can see here, we've got our 2 hydrogens there, but we've got 2 lots of them. So that means that we've got a total now of 4 hydrogen atoms. For the oxygen, there's only 1 of them to start with, but now we've got 2 lots, so we need to do 1 times 2, and that gives us 2 oxygen atoms. Okay, so at this point, the hydrogens are no longer balanced, excuse me, but the oxygens are. And on now, we can do an easy balance on this side. We just need to double the amount of hydrogens to get to 4. So we put a 2 in front of that, which gives us 4 hydrogens, and that is now balanced. So just very quickly to summarise, the main rules that you need to remember for this are that you cannot change the small numbers that are located after the element or the molecule. Okay, you can only change how many lots of the molecule that you've got, which is the big number that comes before. Okay, that was a very basic balancing equations tutorial. We'll go on to some harder stuff in another video.